So, a lot of people are joining in and playing Yu-Gi-Oh, both young and old. But they are surprised and shocked to find out on what happened to the game over the years. Like a lot of new cards, new game mechanics, terminologies, and other things. And it's quite complicated to understand, especially for new and returning players. Some of you will feel confused about what happened because you don't know how certain cards interact with each other now or how the new game mechanics worked, which will lead to frustration. Trust me on this one. Even I was a victim of this. But I still played and tried my best to understand the new things that the game offered. And now I'm here to help you with those new things. Hi, my name is TDP and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! 101. My goal for this series is to enlighten and teach the new and returning players on what are those new things. For the first episode, we will talk about what is a hand trap and how does it work. A hand trap is a term used by people in the game to describe card effects, usually monster effects, that are activated from the hand in response to what your opponent did. They work the same as a trap card to disrupt or to surprise your opponent, but there are actual trap cards that can be activated from the hand, like Infinite Impermanence and Red Reboot. The way they work, for most of them, is by discarding or by sending them from your hand to the graveyard as a cost. Here's an example. Let's say your opponent wants to draw cards from their deck to hand. Then they activate Pot of Greed. If you have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring in your hand, you can activate it by discarding it to the graveyard to negate the effect of Pot of Greed. But this is not always the case. Some hand traps don't need to be discarded or sent to the graveyard. Like what I mentioned earlier, the card Infinite Impermanence. So you might be wondering, why is this trap card considered as a hand trap? This card can be set and activated on the next turn as what a regular trap card should be. But this could also be activated from your hand. Another example, your opponent summons Armageddon Knight. Upon summon, it activates its effect to send one dark monster from the main deck to the graveyard. Infinite Impermanence has the effect to negate a monster's effect on the field. You can activate this card from your hand to negate Armageddon Knight's effect. Just remember to read the card text first on how to activate them. In many situations, they can be more useful than actual trap cards because cards in your hands are less likely to be targeted by your opponent than the cards on the field. Hand traps became popular during the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX era with cards like DD Crow, Gorz the Emissary of Darkness, and Honest. And its popularity spread out fast in the metagame with cards like Maxi and Effect Veiler were released. Some archetypes and series in the game are composed of numerous hand traps such as C, Yokai Girl, and Cyframe. There are hand traps with effects that are so good in the game that they were in the ban list and some of them are still there. Here's a trivia for you. The very first hand trap to be released was from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Monsters era. It's Kuribo. Now, there are many kinds of hand traps for different kinds of situations, like stopping your opponent from adding or drawing cards, stopping an attack, and even clearing out monsters on the field. So, in the end, it all depends on your need and what are the purpose of the cards that you chose. I hope that this video was informative enough for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time!